Good afternoon. How are you?
All good, all good, all good. I think it's already 4:02 and Indian time, and at UAE it must be 2:30, right?
Yes.
That's right. So Tariq, it's a pleasure to be here on the platform, and since we are already, on time, we can wait for 5 more minutes. Let some more participants to join, and since Ganesh and Mr. Nishank both are here, so it will be easier for us to start anytime. We'll wait for 5 minutes. You can take your coffee and water, and everybody is already here. So we'll start in 5 minutes.
Good.
Hi Nishank.
Hey, hi. Hi. Sir, how are you? How are you doing?
All well, all well. Yeah, looking so smart, huh?
Hey, hi, Tariq. How are you doing? Hi, man. So
Hi, Nishank. How are you?
good, good, good. The good IFCO days, remember with you.
Good to see you all.
Yeah. Ganesh joined already.
Yeah, Ganesh is here. Mr. Ganesh, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. So I'll just pin you also, so your screen doesn't go everywhere. So
Hello, Ganesh. Good evening.
Hi, Nishank.
How are you doing?
Yes, good. For you?
I'm good.
Perfect.
So Nishank, how's the situation of COVID in Malaysia?
Malaysia, they control very nicely. So now, since from last month of 12th of May, like economy started 100% already. And now 1st of July is they started everything. So now from last couple of weeks, we are getting numbers like less than 10. So like from last 1 week, like it's number 2 or 3 or 1, something like that. So now government saying like by 15th of July maybe 0. So yeah, a couple of months lockdown, but now the situation is under control.
Nice. And how about UAE, Tariq?
Well, situation here in UAE is a little bit more open now. We still are getting records of 400 infection every day. But market has opened. People are now allowed to move. Mosques were open 2 days back, so people are going now to mosque, which is a good sign. Everybody was worried that mosque will take some time. Today, Friday, prayers were not allowed in mosque, but basically mosques are allowed to for prayers for a short time on time of their prayer. So let's hope. I think that by middle of this month also most of the normal flights will be on track, and people will be able at least to travel in and out, and that's very important for the business.
Great.
Right.
That's a good news. Good news. Yeah. As we discussed in the morning, India is like, yeah, we are getting too many cases, but what we see is like it's a new normal. So people have accepted it. We are not, taking too many consciousness. Like we are still going to the market, wearing the mask and all. But yeah, like it's a new normal. So people are not bothered much. And that's the reason probably we have regained the economy also like at a good pace. Yeah, I think so. Shall we start, everyone? Because it will be a little late then after, because everybody must be having their own schedules.
Yeah, I think we should start.
Okay. So Ganesh, it will be great if you can switch on your video also, so that will we all can see you also.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Ganesh. Yeah.
Thanks.
So good afternoon, everyone. So it's a Friday morning, and for Tariq it's a holiday. So we are bothering him on the holiday, and for us, for Nishank and all India, everywhere, we all are getting into the weekend. So it's probably after 2 hours our weekend will start. So thank you everyone for joining us. I'm Sushil Vaishnav. I'm the founder of the KNP Arises Green Energy Private Limited. Our company is involved into waste to energy concept. So what we do is exactly we collect the waste cooking oil. So this waste cooking oil is primarily collected from the different small food business operators, with like restaurants, kitchens, hotels, industries. And after collecting this waste cooking oil, we convert it into biodiesel. So what we are doing is, one way we are trying to stop the adulteration, we are trying to stop the water pollution. Another way we are converting into biodiesel, which is helping the environment. And this entire concept has been quite popular in European and US and other economies, developed economies. But in India, it is getting pace. And we have been organizing the different webinars. And the last webinar which we have successfully organized was food adulteration. One of the speakers from the last webinar, Mr. Koshlesh Vashne sir, he's from Pune. He's also joined here. So Koshlesh sir, welcome you all. I can just see you on the screen. So I thought I must mention about you. You have shared a lot of insight last time. Thank you. So in the same note, I'll introduce brief about the Nishank, Mr. Ganesh and Mr. Tariq, and then we'll start our webinar, today's session. And today's session we have picked for the all those who are from India and they have a little connections in India. Everybody understand in India, we all are going massive on how we can go global. So the same concept we have taken for this particular webinar, where vocal to global. So government of India is promoting a lot how people should talk about the local product, how they should promote it. And now next step is how we can take outside. So on the same front, we have taken the our esteemed speakers. All the speakers are having amazing experience. Everybody is mastered in their own fields. And it's all up to us how we can, get the maximum knowledge from our esteemed speakers. We have limited we have not taken so many, I would say, so many audiences. We have restricted the quality. So we are focusing on the quality so we can have a more quality discussion rather than the quantitative discussion. And like Nishank is coming, he's joining us from Malaysia. And he has been working in the research and development of the different products. And he has got in-depth knowledge of everything. So it's all up to us what we can fetch the information from Nishank. He has got over 16 years of experience. He has worked in India as well as overseas. Mr. Ganesh is joining from Gurgaon, and he's working with the Cargill, which is one of the biggest oil company, or I would say agri-business company in the world. And he's coming with a wealth of knowledge about the oil, because oil is the key ingredient in any snacks industry, and he will share his insights UAE market and other different part of the world, and he has worked in the different products, different category of the businesses, food, HoReCa, retail, B2B, and he has been I worked with the Mr. Tariq, and he has been instrumental in the developing so many new countries. So he is the perfect person for anyone, how you can take your product outside India. So on the same note, we would like to start our discussion, and I would like to, Nishant, is it okay? We'll start with you, or Mr. Ganesh, if you want to start, or Mr. Tariq. So you all can share your own thoughts.
I'm okay to start.
Okay, fine. So that will be great. So let's start with the new product development and specifically for the snacks industry, and then we'll move to Mr. Tariq, and then probably we'll go to Mr. Ganesh. Is it right, Mr. Ganesh and Mr. Tariq?
That's fine.
Fine. Okay, fine. So stage is over to you, Mr. Nishant.
Yeah. Okay. Hi, everyone, and thanks, Mr. Krishil, for a brief introduction. So here today, I'll share my screen for you guys, so you can see my presentation for just a second. You can see my screen now?
Yes, we can see.
Okay. So, hi. We will discuss today about one thing is the overview and the innovation in the Indian snack industry, so the vocal for global. So, I'll try to give the insight, okay, what is happening in the Indian snack market and what will be the future. So, because we are working on the trend from 2018 to 124. So here we will start now. So the Indian snack market mainly is the future of the Indian snack market. You can judge from the excellent the growth rate that we are observing from last 4-5 years. And if you see for next 5 years, when you are working on the trend from 2018 to 24, we watch the CAGR is almost in the double-digit rate for the India snack growth, in the industry growth. And the India snack market is mainly we have to see, because who are from India, we know is divided between organized players and unorganized market also. So at present, the unorganized market is dominate the Indian snack market. We'll see the another slide how much is the percentage mainly. So, but this scenario we saw slowly in last 5 years, and if you are going to next 5 years, it's expected to change and going to the more towards the organized market share. Why? We will discuss about this, because we'll see the Indian snack market is growing if you see the organized sector side, because the many foreign sectors are there. If the lifestyle is changing continuously, rising urbanization, growing the middle class population in India continuously up, local availability and the availability of snacks in the small the package size, that is very important for Indian economy thing, the lower price, and company strategies to focus on the regional taste and the regional flavor. So that is also in. So if you see here the numbers, numbers are very promising. If you say the total cap size for the current market is around 28,000 crores. So if you see the Western snacks,
Nishan.
Yeah.
Sorry to disturb you. I think people have mentioned they are not able to hear you well. If anybody is not able to hear, can you just unmute yourself and tell me the issue?
Just second.
We are able to hear.
Okay, fine.
Sorry. It's breaking at times, sir.
Yeah, now you can hear me? Hello.
Now it is better, Nishant.
Better,
no
yeah.
problem.
Okay, maybe the Bluetooth issue, yeah. No. Okay, so yeah, we were talking about in the last slide is about the Indian stocks market is divided between organized players and unorganized market. So, but this is changing continuously from last 5 years, and we are seeing next 5 years in 2024, it will be the big shift to the side of the organized market. And the reason because of these, we have a lifestyle changes occurring very fast, rising the urbanization, growing the middle class population, the local availability and availability of snacks in the small pack size, the lower price availability of the product because of a lot of competition, and the company is trading so focused mainly on the regional taste. And if you'll see now, the total market, the numbers are looking very promising. So it's snack market size is almost reaches up to 2019-20, that 28,000 crore. And the Western snacks like the chips or extruded snacks, so the PepsiCo is the major share. So they are almost touching this market like 16,000 crore. And then the main, our Indian ethnic snacks, mainly the Bhujia and Namkeen, so they are touching over the 12,000 crore. But we'll see the Indian snack market, the growth, double digit I told you before, the CAGR almost 15%. So this CAGR is the total segment. If you see the extruded snacks is almost 11-12%. If you see the Namkeens and all, is more than 20%. So if you see is around 15% for the total, the category, the snack market, and that is really very good. And then if you see the organized market is around 40-45% currently, and 55-60% is organized sectors. So both will play the critical role for the fast evolving and high growth Indian snacks market. So the snacks product segmented, we saw we have a lot of extruded snacks like the Kurkure and all the chips. That is the main thing. And then for Indian ethnic snack is the Namkeen is a major segment of India. And then with this, it's coming up as the snacks bars or different kind of the cakes and cookies. They're coming up as a available snacks. And other street foods that is coming from unorganized market, and that is still the high segment is there. So that samosas or akra or other fried snacks. So that is big in the numbers, unorganized market. So we will see what is the issue with them, and we will discuss about a lot of on the taste and health side today. So important point in growth and the product innovation, we need to work upon the snacks in the price range. A lot of brand-loving consumers are there, so popular products in the consumers, that is very important. The Namkeen range innovations, we didn't saw a lot in the range of innovation on the Namkeen, so that is also required to build this category. The street foods quality improvement, like the oil uses or frying cycles and all. I will discuss something, and also then Ganesh will let you know many things about that. And the control the possible health hazards and work upon the healthy but the tasty snacks. That will be the main trend also. So if you'll see another side is PepsiCo, India, and the ITC also the leading player. If you'll see the organized market share in the Indian snacks market, and if you'll see the other regional and local players like the Pratap Snacks, Balaji Wafers, DFM Foods, Bikaner Wala, Haldiram's, they are the big, and they are also growing very fast with these corporate houses also. So the PepsiCo, some of the most popular snacks companies in India and organized snack market. So PepsiCo, although we saying is the highest share currently for the organized market in India for the snacks. And if you say the Namkeen thing, the Namkeen has the highest market share. If you calculate the organized and unorganized, is the highest market share in the Indian snacks currently. The Namkeens mainly. So the Indian snacks market is segmented into these three things that we saw before. So in terms of the market value share, so we saw is Namkeen is the highest share. So if you calculate for the both, and it's growing towards the side of the healthy snacks or extruded snacks or chips and others also. So if we will see here, the Indian snacking food industry is kind of very promising currently, and it's kind of the booming arm for the FMCG category. And thanks mainly to our evolving consumer consumption patterns, that is very important. So with the rise in our lifestyles, or a lot of the millennials and our the young population, India is the most in the world. So we have adopted like the snacking attitudes and are making different snack choices. So it's based on the health, or in the convenience, or as the brand, or the trust. So different individual having different interest in this side. consumers mainly the intentionally looking for snacks to indulge in, to to satisfy a craving or to hold themselves until for their next meal mainly. So the consumption frequency mainly has increased. As a testament to this, the market for snack food segment is on the rise mainly. The number of factors like mass media industry, the brands are capitalizing all of these opportunity mainly through their product offerings, bringing the goodness of healthy food items to the Indian consumers in the different formats, like suited to their different lifestyles or what kind of the taste they want, the texture they want, and as per the convenience. So mainly that is like for go ahead for next 5 years and already started now in last couple of years we saw. And then as some names, no need to go there, but okay, some leading brands or leading snacks that we are day in day out we're eating, like for our favorite maybe Kurkure for PepsiCo, or some the Namkeen brands, or the Lay's from PepsiCo, or the Bhujia from Bikanerwala or Haldiram, so or the Leher from the PepsiCo. So these are like some leading brands from the industry. So these are doing very good in the Indian snacks market currently. And then if we talk about kind of the innovation, the trends, and from which side we are going now towards for next 5 years. So that is also important, is identifying trends that showing a surge and anticipating customer needs. Can illuminate your FMCG brands to help them stay ahead of the competition. So below are some of the trends anticipated to rule the Indian snacking market in 2024. So evolving consumer habits, a step towards healthier food options. So consumer demand a range of the natural products that deliver health benefits in convenient formats. They are more attuned to healthy eating habits and what goes to their food. So they're taking care of mainly who are consuming mainly for the organized sector market. Okay, so the Indian snack market indicates that more than half of snackers in India wish there were more healthy snack options available, and that is a big percentage of population, you can say, if you talk about this. So this highlights a key opportunity for companies to provide increased nutritional benefits in snacks with a better for you ingredients, and without ignoring the fact that indulgence is also one of the key pillars of snacking. So we are not saying is healthy and tasty, but we are saying tasty and healthy concept. So it should be for Indians, for us, it should be tasty first, and if with that it should be healthy, then it's like in for our consumer that we are saying is more than half of snackers. And so the snacks innovation, like treating the taste buds. India is a diverse country, so not just in terms of its people and culture, but also the various the taste and different state having different taste buds in the people and the flavors we have to offer. So the traditional snack market is primarily driven by small unorganized players who sell the fresh regional savory snacks by weight at the lower price point. There's an opportunity for brands to mitigate this competition by innovating snacks with the regional flavors and local ingredients and offering them at affordable prices. So local street food flavors are now being seen in packaged formats for the Indian touch. So these also like the flavor houses playing a very important role in this industry, because we can see a lot of local flavors in our snacks nowadays, and that will be the trend also for next 5 years. And then also, okay, these trends and then what happened in future. So this all we have to take a pause because of the current situation. So we all know, because of the current situation, for okay, yeah, we are all waiting for the vaccine, and this will come maybe this year or next year early, or so. But still, we saw, because of this pending situation, a lot of the pattern, a lot of the trends will be changing. But we're talking about already the snacks area. The pattern was the trend was there on the healthy side. But we'll see the COVID-19 leads to a shift in snacking priorities, mainly from convenience buying to the conscious buying. So our consumer or customer not buying everything. They are checking many things, like what is the nutritional value, or what is the fat content, or how is the product availability. So is the conscious buying is there. More conscious and healthy snacking preferably in current scenario and in future too. So before COVID-19, snacking keep us full between meals, and sometimes we have relaxed meals also with the snacks. But now consumer more conciliatory about health, so they're conscious about health. So the consumers prefer snacking should be more nutritious and help to build their immune system. So that is very important for in the current situation. And this will be in the trend for sure for the packaged snacking product or the organized market area for the snack side. Like we saw a lot of now the flavored milk coming with ginger or turmeric already launched by leading players like Amul, and now we can see in near future also the snacking with either with some natural raw material or natural antioxidants or with like more nutrients value on the label. That kind of product will launch and already in the market, but now we'll see is more with the taste and health concept, and then high protein product like high fiber product like oat based product either or nutrition bars in a new format, in the tasty format. That will be sure of the trend for the next 5 years. And customer or consumer also like more aware now about the calories or the salt intake and the sugar consumption through the snacks. So these areas also in the trends like to reduce the 5 to 10% sugar or reduce the salt, or it will give you the low calories. So these all things we have to discuss during the innovation trends in the future. So we can see like some of the things like it's coming in or it will be there in next 5 years or its next innovation. Like so consumers seeking like the organic options for the kids for their snacking. So in the kids world, like the anytime is snack time. So after the lunch, even they need a snack after a couple of hours and in the evening. So the mounting need to have on-the-go snacks. So there should be high nutrients for children has worked in the favor of global healthy the snacking market. Should be adequate nutrition ensures they grow to their full potential. Parents want their children to consume healthy snacks that help them improve memory and the concentration as well as they maintain the energy levels throughout the day and lethargy mainly. So these snacks further help to control their hunger between meals and to avoid overeating at the meal times. So that is also very important for the kids. And then the snacks starting the nutritious grains that we have discussed about before. So with an explosion of healthy alternatives being introduced already, there has been a radical shift in the types of snacks consumers are looking for. So they're actively looking at the snacks as a way to boost nutrition. So products that tout an added benefit like including grain or high protein or different kind of grains in the snacks are available. The low sugar and experience unswing due to the various benefits they offer. So more manufacturers are launching the products owing to these trends to deliver better for you items. Like we saw, like the current product in the market is part of also for the innovation and the last trend of in last 4-5 years. So if you see from the right bite, they're launching the Max Protein, the chips or Max Protein, the product like in the different flavors. So, but in the protein content almost reaches like around 15% or 18%. The Lay's coming up with a baked product before, but now they come up with a product with a baked, but they're saying is 65% less fat. So that means a lot for to eating the healthy consumer side, like the Cheetos coming the baked in the market. So these all giving you like the latest trend for the snacking market, and still we can say these are the niche segment, but that will be the trend that will grow very faster in the snacking market in near future. And then we see all we are doing with the Tortura chips thing. So way back, I'm part of the General Mills. 2010, 2011, we are talking about the Taco Bell coming into the India. So luckily I was a team of developed a lot of things for Taco Bell. But if you that time is we see it's something like very new thing for us. So the category of gourmet snacks is fast gaining acceptance, with more and more Indians owing to globalization, overseas travel, and exposure to the new products and flavors. So one thing is the tortilla chips and nachos are kind of the culinary delights from Mexico and are independent product categories in markets such as from United States or the Mexico, establishing them as strong product categories in India and has its own share of the challenges. So nachos also have been at times equated with a humble, like kind of we say the humble papad, or it's kind of close culinary reference points for Indians. consumer preference and choices are changing slowly. So this is evident from the fact that the earlier nachos and similar products were displayed like alongside international gourmet products by the modern trade channels, that is maybe Spencer's or Easy Day. But now if you'll see that is changed and these products are, the product is acceptable now by the Indians, and this is like as a regular snack product for the Indians. There's a big change pattern for the nachos and tortilla chips. So this clearly shows that gourmet food has moved into the domestic snack food category, and there is a growing acceptance for new and innovative products. And then if you see is like I'm talking about Taco Bell, it's till 2010 opened the first store. 2020, the Taco Bell talking about 600 stores. That is from Yums. So 600 stores in the all over India. So that is a big change, a big shift for the Indian snacking market also. So the veggie chip market is showing like 70% annual growth, and if you see the global tortilla chips market is a CAGR of 7.42%, and that will grow up very, very fast. And also is coming under also a lot of innovation happening in the healthier snacking option with the supreme snack of New India, we can say, as a nachos or tortilla chips mainly. And then we see some of the new products coming from outside to India, and then it's like, you know, we and then it's coming in the flavors of like the Indian flavors, but it's like also the taste buds from the global. So moreover, to address the taste aspect of snacking beyond local flavors, so the global flavors combined with nutritional benefits appeal to consumers who are looking at the balancing the taste and health equation mainly. So the green snack cheesy jalapeno flavored 6 granny sticks. If you see the pictures, so like 6 different grains are there. So this is with oats or ragi or sorghum, soya, maize, and rice. And it claims to provide health benefits including weight loss or lowering the risk of diabetes and providing the sustained energy levels. So that kind of like the product, like the cheesy jalapeno flavor is there, and then with the snacks, different snacks. So this will give you like also the same time taste, and then the healthy the concept also. The other, you can see the left side is eat anytime like Bombay Achar flavor. So it's in the pack. Okay, this is the very good product, snack product for the unorganized market. But we see the trend is changing. So this kind of the product is like in the pack format, and so this is like the flavored snack pack. So this product is to have the perfect combination of the sweet and salty and tangy all combined into one bar, along with the goodness of the health and the hygiene. So the vegetarian product can be consumed on the go and claim to the help like satiate your hunger. On the right hand side is the back-of-field, like the saucy pizza thins. So that is also the coming into the organized market, like 100% baked, not fried. So this will give you the multi-grain wafer crepes said to be inspired by the Lebanese lavash and contain flavors of juicy tomato, oregano, jalapeno. The product is baked and claims to be the poppable, the munchable, and the dippable. So that kind of so something like the new snacking or the millennial snacking or the young population. So now, so this kind of the snacking also becoming popular nowadays. And then if you see the engaging consumers with purpose-oriented snacks, the modern lifestyles, or I'll go a bit faster because we have to go to other guests also. So research tool like trending the mood to order. So because Indians like showing a consumer to India eat to relieve stress, or we are eating indulgent food as per our also depend on the moods. So why we are saying this is something like the brands now tapping into opportunity by launching a snack made for specific occasions like fasting. So Indians are doing a lot of fasting. So that is like you're fasting, you have different kind of moods. So to uplift that kind of, the advantage, uplift the mood and provide some fun. So that kind of the product, like which consumers snacking for various reasons, brands and highlighting occasions or benefits offered on the snack pack. Like this is also the particular brand from Namkeen from Spice tapioca snack. So this tapioca-based snack is said to be crunchy on the outside and soft on the inside, and it desired as a popular religious fasting recipe consumed like Navratri, Mahashivratri, and Ekadeshi. So it's like of this also like of a lot of trending on the packaged food side for the snacking snacks mainly, and we can do a bit innovation in them. And then last but not least, like a lot of you can see the bars or the granola bars or high protein bars this coming in market. So we need the innovation in that side, so we can do a more like either the omega-3 or high in omega-3 and omega-6 or healthy heart options in the product, and we can see a more energy booster, boost focus, and the memory. So also these kind of the product will come now and already there in the market. But now if you see the immunity situation and the snacking situation, a lot of things will be changed for the trends. So these all kind of products also will be in for the next years. And then also with the innovation, we need to see in India for the challenges, the snack challenges. So Indian organized sectors, like we saw a lot of the Friday snacks we are consuming day in, day out on a weekly basis. So having these snacks having a great indulgence and the taste, but need to work upon the food safety part and uses of the frying oil. So the quality issues due to kind of the improper frying cycle or repeat frying in the same oil is the concern. So we all from the food world, and we all know the FSSAI. So FSSAI did a great work in this area. So they come up with a RUCO. The RUCO is the repurposed used cooking oil. So what they FSSAI did, so using the same cooking oil for repeated frying has adverse health effect. So this used cooking oil is also a potential feedstock for manufacturing biodiesel, and therefore FSSAI has launched RUCO, an ecosystem to enable the collection and the conversion of the used cooking oil to biodiesel. So you guys can go to this website, the fssi.gov.in RUCO. So that will tell you in detail, okay, what should be the total pull-off compound should be there in the used oil when we are frying, when we stop it, and when you should give it to the distributor to use this for a biodiesel. So and not should give these HoReCa channels mainly should not give to the roadside vendors. So this cooking oil should give to the distributor, and then they can use for the biodiesel purpose. So they should not use mainly for the roadside vendors. After the HoReCa or hotel channels, they use the oil. So they should sell to the approved dealer mainly from the FSSAI. So that will be the main advantage for the near future. So that have to do by the main HoReCa channels. And other thing is very important, the total oil management practices should be used by the HoReCa channels. So we can see a lot of the key accounts, the chain accounts, they're already using for some years, and then they saw a lot of benefits there. So it's kind of benefits. We can filter the oil. We can use oil for more time. We can see we're not using oil if like protopolar compound, which is more than 25%, we are not using. And then like the cleaning of the fryers and everything, and they taste the food also on time to time after the frying. So these total oil management practices also is very important for the snacks area. And then the fat side also Ganesh will touch, but hydrogen fats mainly. So it's a big time. Should know for mainly for unorganized sector. Organized sector already looking forward about this. They come back to like some sulfur oils and all, but it's still there's a part of the hydrogenated fats using. So a lot of more trans fatty acids are there. So this should be a big no for these kind of the fats for the future trends. And then a lot of things coming up with the natural antioxidant things to extend the shelf life of the product or the shelf life keeping, or increase oil life also. So these challenges are there, but we can overcome these challenges for sure, because there's a lot of knowledge base is behind this in India. And then I'll just leave upon some pictures of some new products like dal crunches or these kind of products coming into the markets. Every yogurt snack. And then this is our favorite, like the Cheetos and all. But you see also the veggie sticks, and then for Mayas, the cornflakes masala. So it's for the South India. So a lot of like these kind of the products are coming into the Indian market. So yeah. So this is mainly my presentation. Yeah, Mr. Sushil. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you so much, Nishant. It was really insightful, like the way you explained what are the new trends which are coming and where exactly the industry is going to move towards. I would like to, ask the audience, if you wanted to ask the questions now, you can ask some questions. 1 or 2 questions we can allow now. Anybody has any questions? Hello. Hello. Any questions?
Yes, sir. Anjali this side.
Yeah.
I would like to ask question that he mentioned that the maximum share, market share.
Market we see is okay. Namkeen we are saying is the largest category, but the extruded snacks is also the chips. These three areas is one of the biggest our snack market. We can say almost like from the packaged food, almost like 75-80% share of all of these three products mainly, and then other 20% is the niche segment. So major is your Namkeen for sure, and then is the chips market and extruded snacks market. So these three is one of the biggest category for the mainly the categorized snack market.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yep.
Okay, fine. So we are a little short of the time. So we'll take if any other questions in the end of the session. So we'll move to Tariq. Thank you so much, Nishank. Tariq, is all over to you. Probably you can share your experience where you worked and what are the different channels you worked, and then after probably you can help us how we can acquire the customers overseas once we are sitting inside the India. And since most of the audiences are based out in India, so just try to refer to the Indian context. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, Nishank, for the wonderful technical information as always. Okay. As mentioned, I have almost now 22 years experience on sales and marketing within basically GCC and MENA region. I've worked with many industries. I'm a chemical engineer. I've worked with many industries in the FMCG, whether it was processed, frozen products, snack, oil industry, culinary. So basically within wide range of products, protein as well. And I've worked in basically into developing market, sales, and customers. And here when I'm talking about customers, basically it's B2B. B2C is also a concern for the market. Now, the big question might be here with whether why do I need to export? What's the benefit for me to have an export market? Now, some would say that it's much better that you first have to make sure that you have a local market before you do an export market. It is important, but that's not an essential need. You could be a tycoon in export and you still don't have a presence in the local market as it is. But it does help. It does help because this is your market where you test your products before you are actually sending them outside. There's a lot of qualification or certification which is required to export your product outside. For example, in this region, halal certificate is required. So this is very important that you have. Some of the industry will ask you for HACCP. They will ask you for extra certification. Now the ISO certification has been moved to HACCP. Some countries will ask you, for example, like Saudi Arabia will ask you for SFDA approval, which is the Saudi Food Drug Association approval. So you have to be registered before you go to Saudi. The GCC will have to ask you for the GSO approval certification. So you have to be ready on this side before you go out. Now, to be clear, we all need to have an export market. And this is for many reasons. I would name some. You could add. All of you have been doing this, so probably you could add as much as you want. So basically, for me as a salesman, the important thing is that export market provides for me foreign currency, which is very important for the business as itself. Also, it's very important when you're having export market is the payment terms. Most of us now having issues in the collection, on the cash flow. But while you're doing an export, it's basically most of the payment is coming now on a more secure and easy to collect payment. So that means that you're either collecting your payment in advance or against document, or at least referred cash against document. So basically your bank is guaranteeing your payment on time. Very important thing is also every market you are export to is equal to a customer. If you're having a local distribution, let's say that you're in any city in India and you're having two major retailer or two major wholesaler, each one of them is a customer. Each customer needs the same attention and the same details and the same focus and the same follow-up. It's the same with export market. Each market is equal to a customer. The difference is that it's less dependent and less complicated. You don't have to focus a lot on your export market. It could be one market that could be in volume and value double or triple or even more than a local distributor or a wholesaler. But the same effort is the same. So you still have to do the same effort while you're doing it on a local distributor or as an export market. Now, it also needs less backup and support. So you don't have to collect returnable. You don't have to. You might have to address it with your export market agent, but it's less dependent. So this is very important. Why you have to look for a market which is in the export market. Now, we don't now call them export market. We call them that we're handling markets or we're handling distributors. And here comes a very important point that you really have to pick up your distributor. You have to find a good distributor where you can actually deal with him in the market, where he can provide you with information and inputs, whether it was a feedback on the quality of your products or at the competitors' information. At the same time, you need to make sure that you're having a spread in the market. Now, recently, because of the current epidemic, market strategy has been shifting. So, although that you still need to have a presence in international market and in export, but there's a lot of shifting that has been happening in the market and towards the strategy or the go-to-market approach. We've been shifting now a lot from going directly to the market, visiting the market, going to an exhibition, trying to appoint a distributor, whether it was for retail, wholesale, or for HoReCa. There's a lot of focus now coming into the social marketing, or let's call it the online B2B or online B2C. If you notice, for example, in UAE here or in GCC, recently the amount of transaction or the amount of purchasing going online has been quadruple in the last 4 months. People are going into buying online more than physically going to the shops. Even if you want to buy something from the supermarket now, most of the supermarkets or the retailers are providing online platform where you can go inside, see the products, and buy it. Spinneys has been now recently announcing that he have went into online platform. And that's where you have to go for marketing. That's where you have to go for promotion. I don't think that now people should focus on the regular marketing that we used to see a lot. People should more focus now on the online marketing, reaching out, whether it was Instagram, Facebook, or there's a lot of platforms like Noon, for example, where you can list your products and make them available for people to buy them online. And that will bring us to a very important point that basically you can really start appointing distributors in other countries without having a local distributor. You just have to find a platform, online platform, where you can register your items, make sure it's available in the warehouse. Snacks is not a perishable item, so it's easier to move some stock and keep it for people to take it. You might have to take the risk of having an item that might or might not sell, but this could be a good break if you believe that you really have a good product that can be sold in the market. Now, a few tips. You don't have basically to lose to start a business in export market. You may not have to gain a lot in the beginning. So you just have to enter the market, try to find the best entry or the best approach. A brand awareness or a brand equity is very important. Your brand should be able to be commercialized. Many people do this mistake. Many of the local manufacturers do a mistake that they don't They're not concerned about brand equity or the brand labeling. So they don't basically try to, for example, if you want to export to the GCC or Middle East, you need to make sure that you have some Arabic language on the packaging. You need to make sure that you have some English language also in the language. You still have to do this, whether by regulation or because you shouldn't actually only focus on one ethnicity. Otherwise, your product will end up in the section of niche products in the supermarket or in the retailer. You don't want to have this. You need to have the product approached by the people who knows the product. At the same time, people who doesn't know it now, because it's a globalization. So people should be able to approach that product and pick it up, try it. They may like it. They may open a new market for you. So make sure you are able to brand your product in a way, package the product in a way that people can actually read it and understand what's inside in a way. And the brand name itself should be easy for people to pick. What Nishan have sent, for example, he mentioned a couple of brands like Lay's. Lay's is a product that everybody, as a word, people can easily memorize this. So always be careful when you do that. I've seen a lot of brands in the market that the pronunciation of the brand itself is very hard, where you might forget the name. You will remember the package if the product is good, but you will forget the name. Now let me go for the opportunity in the market. Now each one of us or each one of you guys, if you're trying to approach this market, you need to find an opportunity where you can penetrate. A couple of opportunities that I have been observing recently. Now, apart whether it was in retail, HoReCa, or wholesale, the market is open. You could always find a place or opportunity to penetrate, and then you have to build on that. But always look for things that people haven't done before. So you could always, Nishank have mentioned a couple of points which have raised the same point to me. He was talking about healthy food. Yes, healthy snack is very important, but you need to find the market for it. You need to find the targeted customer for it. Not everybody will look for a healthy snack. Who wants snack? He wants the greasy or fatty snack. But people also are looking for a healthy snack, but not everybody. You should look for example, for example, Ministry of Education in UAE. They have banned all the snacks from school. So since 3 years now, snacks are not allowed. Why? Because of the oil percentage or saturated oil percentage. Now, if you're able to come up with a product that actually can satisfy the regulation of Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Health, your product could be actually an access item every day for more than 800,000 students in UAE alone. That not to count also GCC, which is also included. So look for opportunity where you can actually approach these markets or approach these customers where even in UAE, nobody now is, some people are, but it's not easy to approach. Other point is that look for your local assets. Recently, there was a brand in the market called Eat Real. I've been noticing this brand a lot. It's a snack brand, but this brand is this is coming from Europe, and this is very tasty and flavored brand. It has been going very well in the market, and the main item of this product or the main ingredient of this product is basically either lentil or chickpeas or tapioca. So it's basically not potato. It's basically a material which is seeds, but at the taste it looks very well like a good snack. And people who are looking for a healthier option, let's say, or people who are looking for a change are going for this. And also, last thing is that the change. Many of the retailers that we're talking to recently, whether it was Carrefour, Spinners, Union Co-op, Banda, even in Saudi, they're always looking for a change. They're looking for something to stand out. If you go to their snack counter, all of them, until now, you'll find their snack counter everywhere having the same brands with the same products. So it's the same brand or the same items which is repeating in every corner or in every stand in their outlets. and they have the same comments. We would like to have a brand that stands out different than others. Now, Sultan Center have started this in Kuwait. So if you go to Sultan Center in Kuwait, you'll find out that they have started, or they have already started, introducing different brands or different products other than the dominating brands in the snack section, so that at least the consumer would like to go there and try a different type of snack than what you could find in the nearby grocery or in the other key account retailer. So this would be a good opportunity for you if you have a good brand that can stand and you could trust that it could stand. You need to find for these differences. Always look for a good local partners. I wouldn't call him a customer, that could actually be your eyes and ears, where he can actually introduce you in a good way to the market and make sure that you receive the feedback from the market on the other brands or other competitors, and make sure that also everybody in the market is aware of your strong point. I would leave it on this way. I'm sure all of you guys have a good experience when it comes to sales marketing. I do hope that I have provided you with some good tips. And whenever you need more information, or if you need more support, please do let me know or let us know. We'll be more than happy to support you. I'll leave it for you now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tariq, for the great insights. So, like the way you shared, there are different ways to reach out to the overseas market. You can appoint your own distributors. You can do the B2B marketing portals. You have to take care of the different regulations, like what you have to, if you are marketing your product you have to mention the product in the UAE language, Arabic language in entire GCC. And also, Tariq, there are some in this platform. We have seen there are students also join. So for the student per se, I'll just brief them. Like, once you have a product available in your hands here in India, and now you have thought of you want to sell it into UAE. So first thing which you have to do, you have to understand the law. So that's the first thing. Then you have to cross the borders. Once you need to cross the borders, then you have to understand the law. Once you understood the law, then as Mr. Tariq has mentioned, so there are different ways to reach out to the customer which exist in this particular world. So one is the distribution channel. So you'll try to find out which are all other different distributors are available. Then you'll try to engage with them. You'll call them. You'll connect with the LinkedIn. You connect with the different platforms are there. So most of the overseas customer acquisition also happen in the different conferences. So there is a big show which happened in the UAE is the Gulf Food, so where a lot of customers and lot of suppliers comes from around the world, and similar kind of the exhibition keep happening around the world and now around the countries. So one should try to go in there. Now in this scenario, probably these things will not happen, but these things will happen with the help of webinar, which makes it more easier. So Mr. Tariq, like one more thing, like is it as if we wanted to get into the one particular country, which is the best channel? Like, is it the distributor is the best channel, or we should try to straight away go to the customer like Spinneys or Carrefour or Lulu? Which is the best channel? How we should approach?
Snack industry comes within impulse industry. So basically, this is the product itself. It's low cost in value per unit. At the same time, it's bulky. So some of the retailers, few of the retailers will be able to carry your product as long as they're able to manipulate it. That means that it's a one single point of your sale. You could do this. I've seen some of the snack industry coming from Europe, for example. There's a brand coming from Spain, I remember, that was dedicated only for Spinneys. Spinneys used to buy it only for their outlet. I don't advise this. This is a very how do I say, a very low market penetration strategy, where you can find yourself with one of the customers with a small market share. So even if you were approached by Lulu or Carrefour, it is good to have their own product. You can give them their own brand or a brand that for them to use, but don't define yourself within one retailer. The best market that you could do is that either now, because there's a lot of channels where you could do this, there's a lot of ways. Either you could find yourself a local partner where he could be assigned your distributor and carry that business and sell it over the platform online. There's a lot of 3PLs in the market where you could actually assign them within the country. You could just provide the products in the warehouse and make sure that at least somebody with a minimum investment, someone just to make sure that he's able to go to the market, make sure he's getting the orders and doing the collection so he could deliver the products to the end user. So there's a lot of platforms where you could do this. If a distributor is a good first option because he knows the market and he will be carrying most of the risk. True. But also at the same time, a distributor is a liability. It's a cost. So you have to make sure that you're able to absorb that cost within your P&L or within your end consumer price. Now, if you don't want to do this, there's other options. You could, as you said, we could put a 3PL where you could put a small setup, put the stock there. You could hire 1 or 2 people. The 3PL could also 4PL, or it could provide you with the logistic and even invoicing, VAT invoices. And somebody just have to make sure he's doing the marketing and the sale. An e-platform is also available. There's many ways to penetrate the market. There's a lot of. I remember 18 or 15 years ago. To appoint a salesman, I mean, with B&G or other big corporate, to appoint a distributor in other countries, we had to go for an audit. We had to go for almost 2 weeks audit to audit the distributor warehouses, network, salesman, financial capability, market knowledge, everything. Now these information are available in the tip of your finger, and you don't have to go for that. Now, recently, I've assigned a distributor in a different country through online platform. We just met the guy. I've checked his background, and I've shipped the first container for him 2 weeks back. So things are becoming easier. We just have to make sure that we're able to get all the information before we do that. We don't have to travel these days to do that, yet it is required at some point.
Fine. So great. Fine. So Tariq, Mr. Tariq will take the questions afterwards. So now we'll straight away move to the next presenter, Mr. Ganesh. Mr. Ganesh Kulkarni. Yeah. So Mr. Ganesh Kulkarni is coming from one of the biggest food company, agri-food company, which is providing, which is there in our life everywhere. Probably we don't recognize it, but they are there. So he is representing one of the greatest company of the current time, which is the Cargill India. I would hand over this entire session to the Mr. Ganesh, and Mr. Ganesh is going to share about because oil is the key ingredient in the snacks. So each property of the oil is going to make a huge difference in the quality, taste, and the compliance of every product. So Mr. Ganesh is going to share more insights about the oil, how we should handle it, and what things we should know about the oil before we get into any product manufacturing. Mr. Ganesh, it's over to you. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Sushil. So we'll cover. I'll just do a small presentation. I think
sure.
In this small presentation, I will cover something about oils and fats. In the snacks industry, I would say that it's very important to have oils and fats play a very, 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 very vital role there. Okay. So the vital role is at least it will have 1 to 30% of the product would be made with the oils and fats. Okay, so I will just present that 1 minute. Sure. I'm sharing it. Let's see if you are able to see this. Let me know. This you're able to see this now, Sushil?
Perfect. We are able to see it.
Yeah, perfectly fine. Good. So we'll discuss about it because this is very important ingredient which actually decides, I would say, the shelf life of the product at certain point of time. And if we don't use this ingredient, this is one of the vital ingredients. If we don't use it in a right manner, then again it will have we will get into some of the losses. So it's very important to know the oils and fats in basic. So what are the factors here? We have just listed some of the factors here. So one of the factor is oil types. So what are the oil types which we choose here is very, very important in this case. Okay, so I would just take a cue from Mr. Tariq that he said that some of the snacks are banned in some of the areas in UAE and other places, a few of the countries there. Or maybe they have certain, it's not banned, but they have certain criteria. Okay, so what will be the criteria? Criteria would be lower saturated fat content. So there could be different criteria for different countries. Every country follow different criteria altogether. So one of the criteria could be oil type. So oil type will decide the saturated fat contents inside. So that's very important. Same thing, oil type. From the oil type, oil type also has another 2 areas where we can say that it is, there is just 1 minute, I'll find laser pointer. Yes. Okay. So you will be able to see. So oil types will also decide something like that is a soft oil and hard oil. So there are 2 types of different oils. Soft oils are something like sunflower oil, soybean oil. These are more softer oils. They are very, very liquid at the room temperature. And some of the oils which are tropical oils, which are more mainly palm based. So those are more tropical oils there altogether, or maybe hard oils there. So oil composition also plays a very, very vital role. Oil composition is basically how much saturation, how much unsaturation we have in the oil. That is very, very important here together. If you say just a domestic oil, so looking at the one is oil industry, looking at an oil industry. Second thing, looking at the domestically what oil we use as of now. Looking at it, there is a cultural angle to these all oil types. Okay. If you go to the south of India, people prefer the oil which is more of which is coconut oil. Okay, so I would say so that's a more coconut dominant area altogether. If you go west of India, you would say it is dominated by, or maybe culturally driven by, a groundnut oil for per se in this case. If you go to the east of India, so mustard oil is something which is being used in that area altogether. So there are different, traditionally or culturally, we are using some different oils because of its oil type traditionally being used, its flavor profile, people use this. So this is also another factor where we need to consider what product we are into and what product would be suited, what type of oil will be suited for that product, final snacks which we are producing from that. There is one more thing which Food Safety Standards Authority of India, that's a Indian regulatory body, they have started something about 1 to 2 years back, so, I think almost 2 years back now. That is TPM, that is total polar material and total polar compound. This is very, very important thing which FSSAI has introduced, which is important point to where we can say that, okay, the oil after frying, at certain point it will come up to have a higher total polar material, and where we need to discard the oil. And then that oil will go for further processing into non-food items, which is something called as biodiesel, or there are multiple other uses people use it for. So this is one of the criteria which FSSAI has started, and this is very compulsory for Indian regulatory bodies here. And to do everything all together, it's actually it's very important to do total oil management. Total oil management is something which will start from it's actually from the crude oil. When we get a crude oil, after getting the crude oil, how do you process the crude oil? Okay, there are various ways to process the crude oil. Then how do you store them? There are storage conditions which are required for the storage oil. There are tanks where those conditions are required. From the tanks, it will then go in tankers, which will be in bulk. That will go in small packs like 15 kilogram, 1 kilogram. So that packaging and then transportation with, until it reaches to the snacks manufacturer, and then snacks manufacturer has to unload. And so and from the every point there is some or other management, or even it has to be next, like after unloading, it will go for a processing conditions. We will be either frying that, or we'll be using in different format this oils and fats. So those processing conditions are important too. So this total end-to-end oil management is very, very important to make sure that there is the oil will be used wisely, number one. So it will be a good economically solutions for that. The solutions like which is having the oils which is having higher monounsaturated fatty acid. There are oils which are having higher polyunsaturated fatty acid. So we will have to do, there is a decision matrix which everyone have to go through, where what we want in actually a final product and what we want into our frying cycles, both has to be managed end to end very well to get this benefit out. So what is this saturated fatty acids, MUFA and PUFA? So this is just a simple, this is very pictorial depiction of a triglyceride. So what is an oil? Oil is basically a mixture of triglycerides. Okay, so there are different types of triglycerides which are available in the oils and fats. So this is a glycerol backbone. Okay, so which is called as glycerol radical also. So this is a glycerol backbone, which are the three items which are the glycerol backbone, and then you have different three. That's why it is called a triglyceride, because there are three fatty acids here. There's fatty acid number 1, then there is a fatty acid number 2, there is fatty acid number 3. So all these fatty acids will have some type of saturation or unsaturation. Depending on that, the definition of that oil, which is is it a MUFA rich, is it a SAFA rich, or it is a PUFA rich, that will be done in this case. So it's important to know when we are into that industry, it's important to know how the oil molecule looks like, and triglyceride molecule looks like, and what are the definition of SAFA, MUFA and PUFA here, so that we will be able to use the oil wisely. This is very simply, I just put more on the frying side. This actually a simple diagram, but again, it's not that simple too, because there are so many reactions which are happening when you have a oil, and in the oil you fry some of the product. It could be frying, it could be some other applications which you are doing. I'm just using frying in general altogether, but then the food item or the food particle or food item which will have a reaction with the oil. Okay, it will get fried, and then there are different reactions of like oxidation, absorption, vaporization. Multiple reactions keep happening here because there is a heating which is happening for the oil, and there is an oil particle which is getting fried here altogether. So there is a heat which is applied. So because of the heat, there is a deterioration of the oils. Then there is an oxidation because if it is open. So all of these points are very important when we look into the lens of total oil management. If there is an oxidation, if you see if there is a chance of oxidation in your plant where you are frying these items, okay, so we will have to try to find it out. What are the sources of oxidation? How can we reduce those? How do we use the optimum heat for that? Okay, so that we don't spoil our oils. Okay, so that is also important. So every food item has its frying temperature defined. Okay, and either it is defined. If it is a new product, then that can be defined moving forward. Okay, so if you go higher heat, then the product will be uncooked in the center, which again will reduce your shelf life. Okay, so if it is at lower temperature, then it will have higher oil content getting inside it. So it needs to be an optimum temperature where we will do this operation of snacks manufacturing. A lot of other important things are also there. There are a lot of contaminants. There are a lot of metals. So we'll have to take care. What type of vessels we are using, what type of metals we are using. All of these residual contaminants really have, these are only few contaminants we have mentioned. There are many contaminants now coming into the thing. Europe is actually leading this contaminant section in the world, and a lot of new contaminants. So we need to be aware of what are contaminants which are allowed. So maybe if I'm exporting our product, our snacks product to Europe, so there are certain contaminants which are not allowed. Okay, some contaminants are not allowed in European regulations altogether. So we'll have to make sure that those contaminants are taken care. And some contaminants do form due to the process in the oil refining. Some of the are done in the frying process. So we have to be very cognizant about it. It's impossible to cover everything. It's very deep subject altogether. But few of the things, it's just a glimpse to understand that what are the things we need to be more aware of. Moisture and water is also very important. It's one of the enemy of the oil, okay, or maybe your final product also. The water activity is very important, or even moisture and water for the oil is also important. If we are having oil settling down, water settling down into the into your equipment altogether, it will continually deteriorate your oil, and that will go more rancid as we move forward. This is more simplified version of it. Previously, it was more different reactions we have put up. It is just showing that how the oxygen is going. This is a food item which we are frying here. How the steam is escaping here from the total frying equipment altogether. How the absorption of oil is happening into the food particle, and then there is a release of moisture from the food particle to the oil, and from oil as a steam outside. So this is one of the simplified version of it. This is a TPM. It's very, very important. This is simple, like it's a probe. It's a total polar material probe. And in worldwide, there are different regulations. India has adopted a regulation of TPM, which I said for the from the FSSAI, which is 25% max. So anything which is about 25% max, if the oil has gone about 25% above, we will have to discard it, or we will have to top it up, so that we will have to make sure that the oil which we are using is always below 25% of the 25% of the TPM in this case. It's called as total polar material, or it is called as total polar compounds. So this is a simple probe altogether here, but FSSAI has subscribed a method which is more of a TLC based, okay, thin layer chromatography based, and I think that method is what FSSAI is using. But this is also quite reliable and quick. It will give results in maximum 1 to 2 minutes. Okay, so that's all from my side as of now. And looking at this, if there are any questions, I'm happy to take those.
Fine. Thank you so much, Mr. Ganesh, for your great insights. Obviously, there are so many things which not everyone can absorb, because it was technical as well. So, but definitely it must have helped lot many people to understand before they start using anything, what are the things they should understand. They should try to get deep down into it. So it was really insightful session. Now I would like to open the session for everybody if they wanted to ask any questions. So they can straight away ask to the respective speakers, and then after we'll do the closing remarks for the session. Any questions? I did receive some questions on my WhatsApp, so in case not, then I'll ask. Yeah.
Hi, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Prakhar or Mr. Rahul.
Hi, Sushil. Actually, I wanted to ask this question to Nishank, and probably Ganesh can also tell us something about it. If a new person is starting a new product, and how are we supposed to approach third-party manufacturers, and what are the key points that we need to take care when we are talking with them?
Okay, I can take that question altogether, and then maybe Nishank or anyone can add on. So if it is a third-party manufacturer for a snack industry we wanted to go for, I think it's important. So lot many things are important. There are stages in how you do a product development in this case. So if you have a product ready, or if you would like to just use the infrastructure of a third party and then move forward. So these are two different questions there altogether. If you have a product ready, which is a ready product with you, then you can just go to the third party manufacturer, do a confidentiality agreement with them. Okay, so it's very important. And the commercial terms and quality terms. Okay, so confidentiality, commercial, and quality, these three are important. There are more important points. I'm just giving you something which is the top of our mind. There is legality which comes into the mind, and also the brand which you are using your own brands, and how it will be used. It's a complicated document, but I think that document we need to create with the third party. And there are many third parties which are available all over India. And there is enough capacity available for this to get it manufactured under your brand with these few documents, and understanding of total quality, total legality, and total commercial aspects, I think you will be able to approach any third-party manufacturer here. It's available as if you can go and see some of the snacks manufacturer and see at the back of the pack. And looking at the back of the pack, you will find out who are the manufacturers for the different locations altogether, and then you can strike a contract with them to manufacture some of the products which you want to get manufactured.
One more thing, like Mr. Ganesh, like is there any way we can identify the good is just because of the testing?
I think it's both. One, by looking at the product, also you'll be able to see the freshness of the product generally. Okay, but then there are a lot of new products which is having a lot of powder coating and multiple other things. Then it becomes difficult. But otherwise, a fresh product will look like more shinier, and it will be a brighter thing. But next thing is sensory. So we do a sensory test, and then automatically we find it out if the quality is good or not. Third thing is you do a chemical analysis and then find it out the product is within the shelf life, it is good or not, all the things. So all the 3 parameters we can put for this final product selection.
All right. Yeah. Mr. Rahul, you wanted to ask question, right?
Yes, sir. Hi, Ganesh, sir. My question is to you. Is palm oil good for health?
This is to me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So palm oil, there is nothing wrong about the palm oil in this case. There are a lot of, misconcept about palm oil all over the world. Ultimately, what we need to find it out is what exactly is required for my customers. What are my customers looking at it? Okay. So palm oil has different connotations on the sustainability side. It's very tough subject to even absorb now at this stage. It's very tough, but palm oil has a connotation on the sustainability side. Then it has one more thing which is called as saturated fatty acid. So it might have some higher saturated fatty acid. So if we wanted to have a product which is having lower saturated fatty acid content, we think we should then reduce the content of the palm oil in your final product.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Hello, sir. My name is Shrishti Jain.
Yeah, Ms. Shrishti.
So my question is that you said cooking, that not to use cooking oil again and again. It's harmful to our health. So as we are living in the Indian society, that there are some shopkeepers that used to fry the samosa and kachori again and again in the same oil. But if we go and tell them don't use it, or we can say that it's not for health, but they refuse to. They say that what's your matter? What we can do? Like that kind of questions arises, and they will not understand. So how it's possible to make them understand or to create the awareness, or what are the programs that launching to create the awareness?
Okay, so any speaker would like to take this question, or probably I can also answer that question.
I think you can take it, Sushil, then I can add on.
Fine, okay. So Shrishti, what happened, like it's very true. At the end, everybody is more concerned about the final revenue which they are going to save by repetitive use. But there is a strong government law exists. So based on this law, if anybody try to reuse constantly, and any food safety officers catches hold of such guys, definitely they take action. So as a consumer, we must ask questions, and repeatedly we must ask questions. So how many times, how many customers will ask such questions? It's a social obligation which force people to stop using it. I know there is a lot of ways and means the way people can escape out of the law, enforcement. But if the people start asking, because I remember we have done one survey with the local FDA in Delhi, and then we have given the questionnaire to the small kids and the students, and all these people went to they taken and these are the kids, And if any single kids, the same like 5 to 6 times, kids are going to the one small shop and asking the same question, how many times you are using, how many times you are using. You know, it's a social obligation. They start feeling it. So that's a social angle. And the second is awareness. For you to keep aware, because as Mr. Ganesh has already mentioned, and the FSI has already mentioned, over 3 times TPC, or in the layman language we can say over 3 times oil is not good. So it's really dangerous. We have to keep telling it, and constant hammering will definitely resolve our awareness issue. So yeah, that's Mr. Ganesh, you want to add something into it?
I think you have already covered it completely end to end. The important thing is any change takes a long time. Okay, don't assume that if there is something which has triggered, it will immediately percolate at all the sections of the society. It is not that easily done. Okay, there are a lot of awareness program which FDA and FSSAI and all the companies are doing to make sure that street vendors are getting educated. Even there are industry bodies which are taking these programs at different sections. So we can't expect that it will happen at one go everywhere. Like, okay, today we push the button and everywhere the changes happen. No, it will go through a long change cycle. And the change is happening all together. We can see these changes happening. People are adopting these TPM meters where they're checking this, how much is the total polar compound of this. So 25 is the limit, which is most of the international societies or most of international countries have adopted. So we have also adopted that. Slowly the change will happen. I think as a part of society, what we need to do is we need to continuously ask these questions, as Mr. Sushil said, that please keep asking these questions. Don't stop it, because only with one question, the things will not change. There has to be multiple questions and consistent efforts. And we will surely see there. And I have already seen that there are some zones which are like the street vendor zones, which are already modernized, and they're also started using the TPM meter. So it will percolate slowly into the society altogether. We need to continuously do the efforts for that. Thanks.
True. Thank you so much, Mr. Ganesh. Any other questions from the audience?
Hey Sushil, this is Anuj from Pune. Actually, my question is I see. Actually, my observation is that the kind of Haldiram or Bikaner is more towards Delhi and so on. But in Maharashtra, I don't see their presence of their store. Like normally, if you see the food chain, what like Haldiram is opening in the UP side or Delhi side or Haryana side, but they are not opening any chain here in Maharashtra. Do you see any reason about it?
Very tricky question. So I think it's more of customer acceptance, like what customer wants. So they do their own surveys, they understand their own products. That's what I'm not a right person to speak on this particular topic.
Anuj, I think so. There are different preferences. In the north, you will see Delhi NCR and other places. You will see a lot of Haldiram and Bikaner Wala in those places altogether. It's all together their marketing strategy. Also, we see some of them in Nagpur. There are some certain stores of Haldiram there in Nagpur, and also there will be some stores which will get open maybe eventually. Maybe I think they were in the plan to do some of the things, maybe the one from the Nagpur or the one from the Delhi in Pune and Mumbai. It will start from their side, but nevertheless there are a lot of other chains. Okay, so it's the only namkeen. So there are so if you are from Pune, so you would know Budhani wafers, and also there are already even Chitle. So he is also a snack manufacturer altogether. So Chitle Bandhu is manufacturer and Budhani is manufacturer. So multiple manufacturers are there. There it all depends on the taste and the marketing strategy of those companies. There is no restriction factor as of now, which I see as of now. Okay, maybe the menu, yes, maybe something in north we will prefer Chole and in the west people will prefer something else altogether. So it would be from that angle. But I don't see any direct restriction back.
Okay, Ganesh, thanks a lot. Thank you. Thank you, Sushil.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Yes, sir. I would like to ask question to Mr. Ganesh. Has he mentioned that in India different region is using different oil? So which is the best oil or any specific oil which we can use for frying snacks? Is there any?
I think it's go back to the culture and application. This is the question I keep getting every point of time, everywhere, all over India, outside India, and from everyone. Either it is B2B people or B2C or consumer, everyone. So it's no simple answer to that here, Anjali. It would be a complex answer always for getting different types of I would say fatty acid profile, because some of the essential fatty acid we will be able to get from one oil, we will not be able to get from other oil. So there has to be maybe a mix of oil which we'll have to use it to get into that conclusion. But all the oils have a good property. Okay, all of them have they lower the glycemic index of the product altogether. So there should not be too much of problem in using some of the oil. But there is no direct answer.
Okay.
All right, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Tariq, I received one question on my mobile. Like this question is about when the small players are trying to connect with the overseas customer, the payment terms is something which is, always you cannot deliver the product and then try to wait for the payment. And you cannot, they will also not accept giving the advance payment because there is no relation between the customer and the vendor. So what is the best way to manage it?
There's always a secure payment terms going on, especially when you're going for overseas transaction. So not everyone is willing to give cash in advance or to pay to do the payment 25, 75 payment terms. So it's always, you could always go to a bank transfer, cash against document, referred bank transfer, which is you could set or agree with your distributor or with your customer that he could collect the documents from the bank and pay the bank 30 or 60 days after receiving the documents against a secure payment terms that will be secured by the bank. And you always use first bank guarantee. So there's always a payment terms that you can use which are secure. Now, in some cases, when the trade is going in a way that your relationship with your distributor has become more trusted, you could always give him a more lean payment terms. But my advice is that even if you have a more than 10 years relationship with a distributor or with a customer outside overseas, always make sure the transaction or the payment is secured, whether through a bank or if it is cash in advance.
Fine. Okay. Thank you. I think is there any more questions, or we can wind up the session now? Fine. Thank you. Thank you so much for everyone to join and sparing the time with us. And it was a great presentation from every speaker. Nishank has given the insights about the future trends in the industry, but how the trends are going to shape up and what are the things which individuals need to focus upon. And Tariq has explained us how the customer acquisition will take place, whether they should go for the distributor, they should go straight away, and what are the different ways to connect with the customers. And Mr. Ganesh has given us a lot of insights about the oil, and obviously because it is connected to everybody's daily life, he has got so many questions as well. So yeah, I would like to thanks to all our speakers for sparing your time. Also to all the audience for being so participative and asking the questions. And I hope everybody must have enjoyed and had a good time with us. Thank you so much for attending this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah. Thank you. Just one more, like everybody, we can get this entire webinar link on the YouTube, so you can anytime you can access this webinar. Thank you.